She lied. Well, hello. Welcome to the EV Café News. 30 minutes of discussion about what's going on in zero emission transport. And today, it's me and Uncle Sam. Hello, Uncle Sam.
Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world.
Now then, grab a cuppa, as Sam has done. I'm on the Lemsip this morning. Man flu, don't you know? So let's plug in and see what's happening in clean transport this week. But before we do, we must just say congratulations to our partners Webfleet and Dynamon, who yesterday announced a partnership to collaborate to hasten the decarbonisation, especially of heavy commercial transport, through even better data and insights. The EV Cafe continues to bring you collaboration. Yet again, some chat. We do. Loving a wedding. I do love a wedding, Sam, don't you?
No, couldn't think of anything worse.
Really? And you with all of your suave velvet jackets, you cut a rug, I'm sure. No?
That's just for awards dues, John.
Oh, I see you have other things. Wow. Okay, well, coming up, the government launches the Industrial Strategy Consultation. Your chance to have your say. The transition to battery electric vehicles could add 16.1 billion to the UK economy. There are calls for urgent revision of the ZEV mandate, and electric vehicle maintenance requires longer bay time, says the tyre company ATS. And a zero-emission chopper fueling rig has been trialled. I'm sorry, I had to use the word chopper. I should have said helicopter, shouldn't I? Zero-emission chopper fueling. This appealed to me for obvious reasons. Mercedes-Benz E-Econic truck debuts at Airbus. But first, we've spoken a few times about charging cable theft from public chargers, and our good friends at BEV, Formula Space and Derbyshire Police have come up with a brilliant solution to this problem, and we're 100% behind it. In Chesterfield, BEV cables have been targeted by thieves and vandals, and in response, the Charge Network has installed a mobile CCTV system at the site, which is monitored around the clock, a tannoy system to warn any gangs of criminals that are there being recorded, and the system will automatically alert local police should any criminal activity occur. And this is the clever bit, the site's got new selector DNA protected cables which give each of them a unique DNA coating, meaning the police can easily trace their origin and hold the vandals to account. These new security measures will now be a staple feature at future BEV locations. It's a sad indictment, Sam, isn't it, that we've got to do all this stuff to protect cables, but this is good news that we're trying to foil the hooligans and the thieves.
Yeah, it is, and as a chargeman operator, we've suffered the consequences of this, like all of them have. Indeed, actually at solar farms as well. So it's a criminal activity that needs to be sorted out. It's an interesting news article. I'm more enthused by the second half than the first, because putting CCTV cameras and all that jazz in, you can't do that across the whole country. It would be astronomically expensive and impossible to administer. So I don't think that's actually the solution, as good as it sounds on an isolated example. But the clever data gathering through the cable, sort of almost telemetry on a cable almost, isn't it, or something, is very, very clever. And I think that's a really, really good way of being able to trace and track where these things end up after they've been stolen. But it's a big concern, and I think we definitely have to have a industry-wide approach to this. And I wonder whether the likes of Charge UK probably need to bring this up as a topic if it continues to be an issue, which by the sounds of it, we're all not alone on this one. There needs to be a collective effort to try and stamp this out.
BEV reckon that the value of stolen cables this year is £500,000, so £500,000, which, you know, to some seems like a drop in the ocean, but that's just a growing problem and will continue to grow unless we make it something which is just not attractive anymore. Right, okay, let's get on with the news. Consultation on the progress of the clean energy and decarbonisation of transport has been outlined in the UK government's new Industrial Strategy Green Paper, released this Monday. The document, which the government said was open for consultation, highlights where the government's focus will lie and which offer the highest growth opportunity for the economy and business. The document, which uses the word growth 276 times, outlined 8 growth driving sectors. I know, I counted them. Every single one. Advanced manufacturing, clean energy industries, creative industries, defence, digital and technologies, financial services, life sciences, professional and business services. And Chancellor Rachel Reeves said, "Our strategy is unreservedly pro-business, engaging on complex issues that are barriers to investment, like a skills shortage, recruitment of international talent, data, research and development, technology adoption, access to finance, competition, regulation, energy prices, grid connections, infrastructure, and planning, all through the lens of promoting investment." The consultation is always an opportunity to have your say, but on this sort of subject, Sam, the industrial strategy for the UK, it's absolutely critical that our voices are heard.
Indeed it is, and this isn't the document I've read, and I suspect that on the basis it's got growth in it 276 times, it's probably quite a large document, and very clearly has pretty much every single sector highlighted within it. So this is really, really interesting, and will take some time to digest, I think. So you've teed us up for a fall here, John. Putting a paper release on the 14th of October and putting it into the news on the 18th is quite tough for us, because we need to digest it, I think, by the sounds of it. But yeah, look, it's good. It's good to highlight, the economic opportunities and business factors within all these different sectors, and how best to help grow these economies, because inevitably they will in this sector over the next few months and years.
Oh, he of little faith, as if I would set you up without bringing you further detail. In a related story, and to quantify the opportunity for investing in the transition to battery electric vehicles, the battery electric vehicle could add 16.1 billion to gross value added GVA by 2035, according to a new report. The study, commissioned by the Energy and Climate Intelligence Unit with analysis provided by CBI Economics, reveals a GVA difference between a best case and a worst case scenario of over 50 billion pounds, greater than the current total automotive sector contributions. It states that the UK economy could rise by 35% or 16.1 billion by 2035, but equally, and this is the warning sign, it could reduce by 73% or 34 billion, depending on the speed of the transition to the manufacture of BEVs. Now, I see you smile Riley there, Sam, and I recognise that there's a wide divergence. The point for me was that this is still something very much in our hands. If we choose to back BEV, if we choose to back renewable energy, we have an economic opportunity. If we don't, the clock could be turned back and we're back at fossil fuels and back doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And you're right, taking positives out of negatives here. A range of it could grow by 16 billion or it could reduce by 34 doesn't really give us a great deal of use, does it? But you're absolutely right. That I think the thing to take out of that is there is a huge opportunity if we harness it, but also a risk. So there are big gains to be had here, and we need to, as an industry, as a collective, find methodologies by which we exploit that. But yeah, as a report, pretty broad in terms of numbers, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit like going to the bank manager and saying, "Can I have a loan for £1,000?" Well, we could give you £2. We could give you 20 million. Well, it's up to you. What? Anyway, the point is well made in the report that this is an opportunity. It's also a threat, and we could lose our industry if we don't all get behind it and all sing from the same hymn sheet. Renewables is better. The storage and use, which is clean for energy, is important, and transport is the lifeblood of everything we do in the UK. Now then, people, shall we say hello to a few people? Let's, because I know Sam loves this more than anything else in life.
Yes, go on then.
At 6:42 this morning, Leon Gomez yet again smashed the doors in. Yeah, 6:42. That's the second week in a row he's been up at 6-ish and signed in. Scott Eady had another 3 hours kip and came in at 9:32. I believe Teresa Swift on LinkedIn, she came in at 9:20. So Teresa, good effort. Lovely to see the EV Café mug there. Daryl Sharp, he thought at 9:33 he was going to be the first one in. Sorry, mate, not you. EV Beano, hello, my friend. Sorry to be late. Valve's just warming up, dirty boy. Who else we got? We've got Carl Elliott. Morning all, and happy Saturday Eve. The legend that is DEV Chakravarti, who I was privileged to meet at Fleet Mobility Live. Just brilliant to meet you. And Dev came up to us on the stand and said, hello. And I just looked at him blankly and said, hello, lovely to meet you. He said, you've no idea who I am, do you? No, Dev, I didn't. But I do now, my friend. It's great, isn't it?
John, the same thing happened to me after I got off stage from my session, I think, and Dev introduced himself. And I before I knew his name, I was like, oh, what are you going to chew my ear about? And then he said his actual name. I thought, oh my God, it's like you're famous. Like you used your name so much. So Dev, it's a pleasure to have met you, and thank you for continuing to support the EV Café.
Now then, Lloyd Allen, who was due to be a guest on our webinar on Wednesday. If you haven't seen it, go back, have a look, because it was magnificent. We were a bit pants, but the guests were utterly superb. He had some issues and was unable to stay with us. He sounded like a Dalek, bless him. But his EV Café mug, they were looking forward to the visit this week. Laptop decided against it, didn't like Zoom. He was very annoyed. It was all very upsetting. And we've got a note from his mum. Lloyd, we really appreciated you pitching up. So sorry that we couldn't get you on. We will have you back sometime very soon, but thanks for joining us this morning. Mark Elliott, morning gang, morning sir. And then we've got the legend that is Peter Heath. He's got nice teeth from PLP. Hello, geezer. David Cornish, good morning. Belinda Guy, good morning to you. Harpreet Singh, thank you for your messages over the last couple of weeks. Been really kind. Rich Wharton, Hannah Brooks, I know you've messaged me about the London EV show. I will be there. I'm going to be mooching the floor and having a look and seeing what's going on. Richard Lindop, you've also messaged. Lovely to see you here today. Russ Morgan, hello. Lucy Jarrett, is that a new name? Not sure about that one. Sam, have we come across Lucy before?
Maybe.
Yeah, not sure. If we have, welcome back. If we haven't, hello.
Well, on that point, John, what I will say actually is I hope we haven't upset Lucy by saying that. But similarly, we obviously did the webinar this week, and thank you to all the new people that joined. We had loads of feedback from people that had never heard the EV Cafe webinars before, and were quite pleased with what they learned from the local authorities. So thank you to all of the new listeners, as well as the existing ones.
Now, Gary Melvin joins us. Morning, all. The all is in capitals. Shouting the all. Morning, all. Rob Dustin, hello. Sarah Sloman. Sarah, a bunch of legends. Everybody that joins us is a legend. Bless you kindly. Thank you for joining us. I know you're having a busy morning. John Jesson, all the way from sunny Bristol. Everybody in Bristol tunes in. I don't know why. They just do. It's lovely. Look. Oh, no, that's Wales, isn't it? Anyway, right. Amy Carter. Oh, Amy, late as usual. But you know what? We don't care. As long as you're here, we are happy. Sending hugs. Economy Trucks. Happy Friday, everyone. Wow. Sam Grantham. Sam Grantham. Hello, my friend. Lovely to see you. We need to have a chat. Danita Brewer, you've messaged me as well this week. And we need to have a chat. And Lucy Jarrett, she was a newbie. We were right. Thank goodness. Lovely to have you here. Thank you so much. Do tell us in the chat, if you would, where did you find out about the EV Cafe? Always fascinates me to see how people identify that we are the place to waste your Friday morning at 10 o'clock. Any road up. Venson Automotive Solutions is urging the government to take decisive action against what it describes as unachievable targets and restrictive regulations to relieve the burden for the commercial fleet sector. The zero-emission vehicle mandate became law in early 2024, setting out annual targets for a growing percentage of new cars and vans to be electric. Although the ZEV mandate states lower quotas for vans than cars, it doesn't take into account the pace at which e-vans can be taken into fleets, explains Simon Statton, Client Manager Director at Venson. The challenge for fleet operators is that the e-vans currently available do not always meet business requirements. Got a bit of a bone there, but I'll let it go. With the right vehicles, right pricing, and a clear workable strategy from the government that addresses the regulatory aspects of managing a commercial fleet, the UK e-van market could improve in the medium to long term. However, overall right now, there's no hiding the fact that the picture's far from rosy. We happen to have a Guinness World Record holding van driver right here. Sam, do you agree that the ZEV mandate is perhaps too challenging? Well, indeed. One old one new one. Well done, mate. Always love you for that. Commercial vehicles. Is the ZEV mandate going to help them? It will in the long run. In the short term, it's a bit tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but of course it's going to be tough because legislation changes of this nature is always going to be difficult. It reminds me, if I roll the clock back to when I had the largest fully electric van fleet in the country, that the congestion charge zone and the expansion of it was a big concern. There was a date, everyone knew that it was coming years and years in advance, and then everyone threw their arms up in the air at the 11th hour going, we can't deal with this, it's too difficult. Well, you've had years to plan for it. So I think this is the case. We can continue to kick the can down the road, or we can just fight the good fight and do what we've got to do and work to these regulations and standards, because we've got to make changes, and it won't be easy. It's not going to be easy for everybody. It will be harder for the small SMEs. I understand. But there is so much low-hanging fruit out there that we still haven't exploited in terms of electrification. So we will always hear people saying it's difficult, it's challenging, and they're not wrong. But at the same time, if we keep kicking the can down the road, we're not going to achieve any material changes. So I'm afraid I'm not the massively sympathetic. I think, if I can build a logistics company with fully electric vehicles in 2009, I'm pretty sure fleets can transition to electrification reasonably well in 2024 and beyond. So yeah, it's hard, but let's get on with it.
Now, let's just have a conversation, Sam, if we could, about cables, because I'm not an expert in metals, but Shane Rees says, an idea for preventing cable theft on rapid chargers: stop using copper. Use aluminium instead and slap a note on the cable that says, no copper left in this vehicle overnight. That'll fox them. Would that work?
Honestly, I don't know either. We probably need a Ewan McTurk to ask that question. What I'd love to do is keep them electrified so that actually when they do cut through them, it'll hurt.
Yes, thank you for that, Sam. Compassionate as always. Now then, Hannah Brooks, it's her first time, was here last week. She decided to bring two more colleagues. Oh, bless you! In the form of Rich Wharton and Gary Melvin. Hannah, you are a powerhouse. Bless you. 3 for the price of 1. You are a superstar. Teresa Swift, I agree with you. We're missing Sarah Sloman today.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's always... And, Sam, you miss her more than most. Teresa Swift likes the idea of electrocuting people. You people need to get help. Let's move on. The maintenance of hybrid and fully electric cars takes longer compared to internal combustion engine vehicles, according to ATS. Even if overall service maintenance and repair requirements are lower, it says fleets will need to factor in the additional service bay time and cost. And I was sitting there scratching my head going, this can't be right, surely. However, hang on a sec, Sam. ATS Euromaster classes hybrid, plug-in hybrid and battery electric vehicles as high voltage, which all require additional time for the cars to discharge residual electricity before they can be worked on. The protocol requires the car keys to be placed in a locked box and left for the time recommended by the manufacturer before the cars are deemed safe to work on by the ATS technicians. This allows for any residual electricity to discharge fully. This fascinated me because I didn't have a clue. Did you?
No, I didn't. And it sounds like there's a certain regulatory leeway that might be required here, assuming, of course, that it's safe to create that leniency. I am going for dinner with someone next week, and a certain Matt Cleveley from Cleveley Motors. And so I'm going to take this news article with me because that is the man who knows everything about taking electric vehicles apart safely. So I will feed back. I will feed back to the EV Café my learnings from that once I've spoken to Matt and see what we can learn from this. But yeah, obviously maintenance on electric vehicles is significantly less. But if the time is being taken to maintain them as and when they do need servicing is significantly longer, then there's a delta there we've got to better understand. But what confuses me about this is that there's always residual voltage and charge in these vehicles. You can't drain it to zero. So I'm not entirely sure why a full battery is more dangerous than one at 10%, for example. I don't fully understand that. There's clearly something that we need to drill into because I think it's an interesting topic.
Yeah, Amy Carter says this is correct. The capacitors in the inverters are the issue. They only take around a minute to discharge those. So the timing seems to be very, very short. If anybody else has got any insight into this, absolutely fabulous, because I wasn't ever aware of this. And when I've taken the vehicle in for work, obviously you just leave it behind, it's all dealt with, and you don't see it behind the scenes. But a really fascinating insight. Shane Reese, Sam Clark, even live cables aren't enough of a deterrent for some. And he quotes an article where somebody chopped through a live cable and didn't die. I can't change a hot turbo on a petrol car until it's cooled, says Amy Carter. I can't change a hot turbo anyway, my friend. Good gracious. Are you good with spanners, Sam?
I'm pretty handy. Yep.
Yeah? Ooh,
yep.
That's interesting. I think we've got a challenge coming our way. Let's see if Sam is prepared to work on an electric vehicle without it discharging its electricity. And let's see what happens to his hair.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I shall leave that. I will be leaving that to the professionals. Although I did. I tell you what, John. Quick story. Back in the day when I first had my first electric vehicle business in 2002 with electric scooters, I was taking one apart one day and I accidentally dropped a spanner and it landed across the battery. And that was a fireworks show I never wish to do again. Which is why they are now rubber coated. So I learnt a lesson.
Ooh, lovely.
Yes. I also had to throw the spanner in the bin because I melted it. Literally melted it. So, yeah, not to be messed with. Not to be messed with. Need the professionals.
Now we talk about collaboration, Sam. Gary Melvin, new person to join us this week. He says, are EV site developers finding it hard to obtain an existing grid connection? We are the solution for you. www.utili-trees.com. Check it out, see what you think. Always fascinating to see businesses coming on here and wanting to showcase what they do. If we all join hands and run in the same direction, surely we're going to get there faster, as long as the direction is correct. We've got a direction of travel. We know that there are massive challenges out there, and if we work together, we can make a material difference. Good on you for bringing that to our attention. Richard Walton says there's a lot of positive energy going Sam's way. Some would say good. The Mercedes-Benz E-Econic is refueling helicopters for the first time. Airbus helicopters in Dunelworth have been using the electric truck from Mercedes-Benz several times a week. Airbus helicopters' initial experience shows that with the installed battery capacity, the tanker can be used in normal operation for about a week without an intermediate charge. Now that's really interesting, because you would say that fuel, electrics, these are a couple of things that you'd like to kind of keep separate. Are there any things, Sam, in your experience that you can't electrify, any vehicles that you can't electrify because of safety issues?
Probably not. It's whether it's practical or cost effective to electrify. Obviously aviation is still a challenge. It's being done slowly but surely, but not on Airbuses or anything huge, or helicopters for that matter, just yet. We're going to need different power sources, I think, for things like that. But yeah, we've seen electrification in pretty much every conceivable vehicle type, to my knowledge. I'm sure there are some that can't be done, but from colossal diggers to small planes to ships to everything, right? Everything's being electrified in some capacity, even surfboards and boats and God knows what else. So yeah, it's quite exciting to see these sort of peripheral vehicle types being electrified. But I'd love to see an electric helicopter. Imagine that. Whew.
Well, we've got electric planes, electric boats, electric pretty much everything else, so it's only a matter of time. Now, Scott Eady asked us if we were going to cover the Energica Motor Company and the news. Scott, I'm struggling to find that news. They're a motorcycle company, Italian, and I'm struggling to find it. So if you could drop us a link, more than happy to cover it, because this is breaking news from Scott Eady, but can't find it myself. Now then, what's going on in your weekend this weekend, Sam? What are you up to?
I'm off to London later to meet up with the lovely Sarah Sloman, and yeah, a bit of relaxing, I think. We both need it after busy weeks. So yeah, just a little bit of R&R.
Yeah, because it's been a busy couple of weeks, isn't it? We had Fleet and Mobility Live and then Everything Electric. Couple of fabulous events. You were on the stage with Sarah doing a cooking demonstration in a zero carbon kitchen, which was great fun.
It was indeed. Yeah, we made VLTs. That's V for vegan, I guess. Which was delicious. Actually, I was pleasantly surprised. I had low expectations for a VLT, much as because I love a BLT a lot. But it was delicious. It was a delicious meal, but also a lot of fun. It's nice to do something different on stage for a change. It's obviously we're very privileged to do lots of keynotes and panel sessions all across the country. But to get on stage and actually do some cooking whilst talking about EVs was just a lovely, different kind of flavour, pun intended. Sorry about that.
And it was really lovely to see people, as we've mentioned, Dev and so many great people. Teresa Swift came along, lots of hugs given out, and it was a really, truly uplifting experience. Really enjoyed it. Now then, it would appear that the Energica story is that they may be going bust, which is always sad to see. Another business that's failed. And we talk about this a lot, Sam. It is really hard to break through in this industry. If you're not an established player, being a small producer of vehicles and technology is tough.
It really, really is tough. And I've been on the failing end of an Energica as well. My first ever EV business was importing electric motorbikes and scooters in 2002, and I failed as well. So it's tough. I was probably 20 years too early. But it's funny, isn't it, the way that two-wheel vehicles, as efficient as they are in electrification, just aren't catching on. Sarah and I both have a Zero motorcycle, and we've both ridden the Energicas. They're fantastic bits of kit, beautifully engineered, incredibly well-made and functional, and yet they just are just not getting the volume. And I just can't quite work out why, because it's the whole reason why I'm in this industry at all is because I spent a lot of time in China 20 years ago, and these electric vehicles were prevalent everywhere. You can buy one off the corner shop for $250 in those days, and yet they just don't seem to gather the volume here. Cars obviously are growing at a great rate, but anything beyond a car, whether it be van, two wheels, or others, it's tough. And for those independent OEMs, it's even tougher. I'm not quite sure what the solution is, but it is a pity if that is indeed the case.
Let's just go finally to a comment from the legend that is DEV Chakravarti, who says, I'll be mostly at a stall at Diwali in Kingston, hopefully persuading people to go electric. Of course, Diwali, the festival of lights. Hope you enjoy it, and you managed to convince one or two people that renewable energy is the way forward, as are electric vehicles. You are a champion. Thank you so much for joining us today. And everybody else, if you've got any clean transport, PR or news stories you'd like us to cover, please send them to us at hello@evcafe.org. Until next Friday, it's goodbye from me, it's goodbye from Sam. You can even say
bye.
Sam. We've got time. This has been an EV Cafe production. This is going to be interesting. Everybody, if you could join in the comments with funner at the top of your voices, because Sam ain't going to do it. Other sustainability news services are available, but this is just funner. Come on, people. We need to see those comments. Funner, 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 funner. Go, 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 go. No, I know. Hateful. Economy Trucks, bless you. You joined in. Evie Bino, thank you so much. Who else we got? Daryl Sharp, you're getting another mention. Economy Trucks, Adam Purcell, you're a good fella. Thank you kindly. Okay, let's get on with it. The EV Cafe is, Teresa Swift, thank you, with all those exclamation marks. Mark Elliott, Jennifer Smith hasn't quite got it, I think. Have a wonderful weekend, but she is a lady. So, and a proper lady. So, okay.
You're doing the call out twice now. Twice.
Yeah, Alan Wright. Oh my lord. The comments have gone completely berserk.
Look what you've done.
I think we've broken.
Finish up now, please. Come on.
We've broken the internet. The EV Cafe is truly blessed to be partnered with the AA, Webfleet, Europe Car Paythrough, Iveco, Zaptec, Drax, Sperry, Stuart Science, Hydrock, Allstar, Schneider Electric and Dynamon. We're the EV Cafe, supporting the transition to clean transport. Enjoy the rest of your day, your weekend, wherever it takes you. This has been a Funner Friday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That is outstanding. Thank you so much, everybody.